We are back with you live once again on another Johnnie Torch live broadcast. Here we are, broadcast number 248, I believe. Torch News Roundup 204. And we are coming to you live here on the only way to spend your Saturday night live, Johnnie Torch live broadcast. Yeah, a little bit later tonight. I wonder if I'll get any viewers from across the pond. But it's still Saturday night here, where we are at 11 in the p.m. So we still made it. I still got the only way to spend your Saturday broadcast here on the Johnnie Torch live program. Thank you for joining us. We've got quite a show for you, quite a packed show, because we didn't do a Torch News Roundup last week. I didn't feel there were enough interesting topics to cover, so probably be a little bit more jam-packed. And last week, a live art stream, so make sure you check that out if you haven't already. And I don't think too many people have, but we talk a little bit about the Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye. Since we got such a big show tonight and it's kind of late, I'm not going to spend too much time hawking the Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye, but please check out the link in the description below. You'll find our website, and you could see the free preview pages we got set up. We've got some coming soon panels to show you, which I probably should update and show some of the more newer panels. You'll also see some panels if you check out last week's broadcast, because we were working on a panel there. And, of course, if you check the link in the description below, you can see our Twitter page. And I have several new panels up there for your perusal at your convenience. Okay, so let's get straight to it. The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye, of course, check the link in the description below. You can find all the information there that you will ever need to make the greatest decision you'll ever make in your life to purchase your copy of the Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye. Let's go with the cover story first tonight. I just got through watching the new Masters of the Universe, the Netflix Masters of the Universe trailer again for, I don't know, the second time. And this is kind of a difficult query, is it? Are they trying to bait us in to woke propaganda by giving us a very compelling trailer, I must say. The art and the animation looks phenomenal. Character designs are rendered well. Of course, you've got such great vocal talents, such as Mark Hamill playing Skeletor. Of course, Skeletor, he doesn't sound anything like the Joker, which is a testament, I think, to Mark Hamill's wonderful vocal abilities. I was going in there expecting, well, it's kind of going to sound like the Joker, isn't it? Really? But no, very, very impressive. He's doing a good job here, I think, with Skeletor. And they changed a couple of things. You could tell Prince Adam no longer looks like He-Man without a tan. they made some pretty good changes there, I think, in that respect. They changed the transformation scene a little bit. Looks like, I don't know, it kind of reminded me of Sailor Moon. A little too Sailor Moony for my taste. Of course, if they're trying to sell us on this is basically picking up where Masters of the Universe left off, the Filmation Masters cartoon. But again, a very good trailer. And I should be very excited about it. But am I? That's the question. And the problem is, we don't really have reason to be excited because, quite frankly, these images, and I know a lot of people are, I'm the last probably to make this observation, but these images that we're seeing in this first trailer are quite likely only from the first episode or two. Now, let me take a look at the copy here, because I purposely pulled up the copy. This is not the synopsis, but let's see, I want to make sure I get this right. Masters of the Universe Revelation will be split into two parts. Now get this is the important thing to pay attention to. Two parts with 5 episodes of Part 1 premiering on Netflix July 23rd. So this is going to be split into 2 halves. They're going to be 5 episodes for Part 1, and then they will split it up and make the other half of the series at a later date. I'm not sure exactly when. So my guess is that possibly the whole first half, the first 5 episodes, could possibly be this, faithful recreation, which I think that's probably giving them a little bit too much of the benefit of the doubt to say that it's the full 5 episodes. But then I think we're going to seg into the unfortunate second half, which is what we've seen already, the weird, woke, propaganda-style stuff that we've seen in this image particularly, where we have the butch hairdo on Tila, the sort of masculine evil Lynn. We have the token black chick that kind of has to be in every one of these kind of shows. And this is kind of what they're building up to. But I wouldn't be surprised if this is sort of where we're going to start. We're going to start with a very faithful recreation, and then we're going to lean into the woke stuff. And then by the halfway mark, it's going to be complete propaganda. Now, we've already heard that it's going to be Tila's show, basically. It's Tila's mission. She's going to get the band back together. She's going to find the power sword for He-Man, because apparently Skeletor has it, and He-Man's a babe in the woods without it, and possibly still Adam. That's the thing we're facing, though. So I don't want to get fooled by this. I don't want to get too excited by this trailer, although it was very good. And I got to give them props. They used the original Bonnie Tyler, goddess of 80s music, in that trailer with one of the greatest songs of the 80s, I Need a Hero. So again, they're doing all the right things. You can see also some of the toy influences. They had some of that stuff there that I don't even remember the names of anymore. There was like that horse that He-Man kind of rode in one episode of the Filmation show, I think, makes a cameo or something. And I don't know, they feel like they have kind of done their homework. And also I like the way they're bringing in some of the characters that were created, I think, after Filmation was done. There is Clamp Champ and Scareglow, I think. They're supposed to be in this. So if you're going to do a true sequel, I like the way that they're going to the well and using some concepts that didn't quite get used. But if it's all going to be to get us here at what we're looking at right now, this image, it's going to be very disappointing. It is not going to be worth it. And I can tell you one thing, I'm not very enthusiastic about this. I'm going to have to see some reviews, some comments. And I find that as time has gone by, I'm getting less and less enthusiastic about all these shows. It's like they've gotten to a point with me where it's fool me once, shame on you. Fool me 5,000 times, it's shame on me. And it's easy to say, well, boycott it. Don't watch it. They'll get the message. Will they? That's the question, though. Will they get the message? Because I know a lot of people, and I've been watching Professor Geek lately, and he makes this point a lot as well, that a lot of people don't have the willpower not to watch. Now, me, I haven't watched really much of these things in regards to the MCU shows. Loki has just debuted, and at this point, I haven't even seen WandaVision or Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But I don't really think it matters to them the amount of views or the subscription rates going up to see these streaming services, because quite frankly, they didn't care when it was the comics. Comics have been tanking. They can't sell comics to save their lives anymore, and they just don't care. So I would like to tell everyone, as he does, as Professor Geek does, just don't watch it. Just don't see it. It's not getting my money. And most of the time, in my case, it doesn't. I don't. I stick by these things when I say I'm not going to see them. But it really doesn't make any difference, does it? They are not going to learn anything The only thing that will happen is that they will probably try to do a better job of disguising the propaganda, which I think is what the intention is here. That they are dressing this up with all the bells and whistles to try to lure you in and say, boy, this looks great. It looks like it picked up where we left off, and it kind of looks like they're putting a good spin on it, a modern spin maybe. But then you get to images like this when you're pretty much being told exactly what the manifesto is. You know, this is exactly the itinerary. We're going to get to this point in the show, and this is where the wokeness comes. And it kind of reminds me also of Voltron on Netflix. I remember watching Voltron for the first couple of episodes, and I was like, not exactly the way I would have had it, but it's not bad. It's not terrible. But then as it evolved, and just crazy things like the alien-looking Laura and Pidge being sort of trans and stuff, it just lost me. And it's the same thing is going to happen here, I think, at this point in the show, when we get to that part where it's going to be the rubber meets the road, and it's going to turn into basically a woke fest. So anyway, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago when these images surfaced, so you can go back and listen to that video if you want more on this show. But again, are you going to watch it? Are you excited for it? And do you think boycotting it is really going to serve a purpose? Because these folks are not doing it for the money. Now, the bottom line is usually the money, but quite honestly, they are so far with their head in the grass, to use a PG term. I don't think they're affected. I don't think they're affected by the money. They want you to acquiesce to their worldview. And if it means that they make a little less, then they make a little less. They want to make sure that the mission statement is loud and clear. And like I said, they'll dress it up a little bit for you. But essentially, you're going to get what they want to give you. And I don't think that's going to change with this show, with this series. And quite frankly, it's probably going to be this way for a while now, with the SJWs continuing to dominate, unfortunately, our entertainment. So there you have it. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And we will get on to the next topic here. Let's see. All right, this happened about a week ago. This is some old news now, but I found this quite exciting. We mentioned it last week on the art stream, but let's see. Andy Muschietti, the director for The Flash, said in an Instagram post last week, teasing the return of Michael Keaton's Batman with this image you see before you, which is the traditional gold moon emblem Batman. Oh, man, that is a thing of beauty. That is a thing of beauty. And it's so sad to say that we haven't seen gold emblem Batman probably since Michael Keaton. I think he was wearing it in the first half of Batman Forever. All right, so we'll say since Batman Forever. But, and then there's a blood splattering here, which I don't really know what that means. It's kind of, as I said before, I'm not a fan of the Burton Batman series because he made Batman a wanton killer. To be quite frank, that is not my Batman. But I think myself and probably at least half the fandom, even if they don't like Burton's Batman, came to appreciate Michael Keaton's Batman and the way he played it. And basically, that was the best costume for, I would say, for any live action Batman. Let me pull up the actual costume, a better picture of Michael Keaton in costume back in the day. And it looks like by that image, they're going by this Batman Returns costume, where you can see the logo there is the classic Michael Keaton. That's the classic Batman logo. And for some reason, I don't know, they just they wanted to go back, I guess, to sort of the origin of the character at some point, and I can understand that with Batman Begins, where they took away the yellow background. But as I've always said, the yellow background serves a purpose. It was supposed to give thugs and criminals a target, so they would aim for Batman's chest, where it's heavily bulletproof, instead of his face, obviously, because you do see sort of half of his face. But look at this costume. This is a beautiful costume. The ears, the nose, the eyebrows of the cowl, that is the Batman costume. That costume is the best in live action. I think for some reason they continue to try to shorten the ears, which I think is a bad effect. I think you really need the longer ears for the Batman cowl to really make that. You want to have that silhouette, right? And you don't make that silhouette with just the stubby little ears. And of course, the cape looks phenomenal. The emblem there, of course, it's just a thing of beauty. So I'm glad to see that we're getting the traditional Batman costume. And again, apparently Michael Keaton will be wearing it. Hopefully, he will continue to wear it. I wouldn't mind seeing him continue on as Batman, but I do hope they give him the proper character arc, the way they gave him in Batman Forever, where he put aside the killing and, ended up killing Two-Face at the end of the movie, but still, they at least played lip service to the fact that Batman had killed in the previous movies with Burton, and that he was going to sort of step aside from that with Robin, his new partner, which again, this begs the question, is this going to bring back Michelle Pfeiffer's Catwoman? Is this going to bring back Chris O'Donnell's Robin, if this is supposed to be the same universe's Batman as it allegedly was supposed to be? You never know. Let's take a look at the copy here. Let's see. Keaton last played Batman in 1992's Batman Returns. He quit the role during development of the third film after Burton was pushed out as director and replaced with Joel Schumacher, who took the series in a campier direction with 1995's Batman Forever and the reviled 1997 follow-up Batman and Robin. Let's see. Machete's The Flash will disregard the latter two entries. Well, I don't know how they know that, but apparently that's the way they're going. Not surprising. When they tried to do this with Superman Returns and they completely ignored Superman's 3 and 4, which, again, they were weaker entries, understandably, but, I would say that Batman Forever is still a strong, but then again, you might just as well say it was a different universe, the way that they were night and day, polar opposites, those two, the Schumacher films and the Burton films. Let's see. We'll explore what Keaton's version of Batman has been up to since last we saw him. Loosely based on the 2011 DC Comics crossover, Flashpoint, previously announced as the film's title at Comic-Con 2017. The story sees Ezra Miller's Barry Allen travel back in time to prevent the death of his mother. The result, Allen inadvertently creates another universe protected by Keaton's Batman, now 30 years older. Now, I know that's not the Flashpoint, story as it was actually written, but that is going to be a good way to bring back Michael Keaton's Batman. So, let's see. Day one on The Flash kicked off in London back in April. The film also, and I think they had some footage of the original Batman, what's it called? Wayne Manor. So that's interesting. So they are going to be filming back on that location as well. The Flash, let's see, stars Ron Livingston as Henry Allen, Maribel Verdú as Nora Allen, Chrissy Clemens returning as Iris West, and Sasha Calle as Supergirl. It is currently set for release November 4th, 2022. So let me know what you think about The Flash. I guess that's just what it's being called now, is just The Flash. For all intents and purposes, their version of the Flashpoint paradox. But there you have it. All right, we've got plenty of images here to show lately. A lot of stuff is breaking with on-set photos. We're going to show some of those right now. Shazam 2, Fury of the Gods, is currently shooting in Canada, We now have another round of set photos. These aren't quite as high quality as the last batch, but they do feature actor Zachary Levi wearing the new cape. Now, see, this is the new cape without the hood. And to be honest with you, I like the hood. It's an old school thing to have the hood. And for whatever reason, you know, I had a feeling the hood wasn't going to last for long. Shazam's hood, quite honestly, is the equivalent of Spider-Man's underarm webs. For some reason, they just can't really like cotton to it in live action. They think it's goofy, and I don't think the hood is a problem, but of course they need to kind of make it collapsible so that it folds. Because you don't want it to be kind of looking too bulky, like he's wearing a cloak. It is supposed to be sort of a cape. But the costume itself no longer looks part inflatable. The cape has undergone a change since 2019's Shazam. Now it appears to be longer and is more traditional in appearance, like Superman. So again, they're not going to do the cape that's like, I don't know, knee length or whatever. Now this is going to be a traditional Superman-sized cape, which goes down to like his boot folds. Let's see. As great as it was to see the first movie stick to the source material, this is an improvement. I don't know. Well, I'm a traditionalist, so I'd rather go sticking with that. But I don't know. I doubt it's going to make a big difference in the long run. Supposedly, it looks more realistic, serious, or what have you. But I don't know. I'm a traditionalist. I'd rather have the original cape and costume intact. Let's see. A trailer being released during October's DC fandom has to be dead certain at this stage. Well, that's what they say. Alongside the first movie's returning cast members, the sequel will add Helen Mirren as Hespa, Lucy Liu as Calypso, and West Side Story's Rachel Zelger to the DC Extended Universe. David F. Sandberg is stepping back into the director's chair, while the release date for Shazam! Fury of the Gods has been set for June 2nd, 2023. Wow, they really want to push this one ahead. I don't understand why, because the young cast is not getting any younger. And you think you'd want to capitalize on that by fast-tracking this film. Now, I know the events of last year kind of dictated otherwise, but I don't know. I don't know why you want to wait that long. But let me know what you think about the costume change for Shazam in Shazam 2. Fury of the Gods. The gods are displeased. Okay. All right, next, some images coming forth for Indiana Jones 5. Indiana Jones 5 is currently shooting, and I'm not going to lie, I happen to be very excited about this. Now, I know there's a lot of people going to cast aspersions on a near 80-year-old Indiana Jones, but I'm not so jaded where I'm not going to get at least a little bit excited seeing Harrison Ford, even at this advanced age, in the Indiana Jones costume. And here he is in full Indiana Jones regalia. Looks like he's been messed up a little bit already. Some changes made to the costume a little bit here. He's got some darker trousers on. I never particularly like it when they mess around with his costume. I remember in Last Crusade, he's wearing a necktie, and I was like, always like, what's with the necktie? You know what I mean? It's like, I don't know. And here he's got like this kind of gray pants instead of the khaki type. The hat looks similar, maybe a little bit bigger on the brim. And I think the leather jacket looks somewhat lighter as to probably not, weigh him down so much because, obviously Harrison's a little bit up there in age now. The bullwhip is still there. So again, this is kind of exciting to me. Now, the problem is, of course, the people behind the scenes involved. What can I say? I don't know. I would like to think that they're going to be on their best behavior with Harrison Ford's Indiana Jones because, quite frankly, he should have the clout to make this something special. Now, with the Force Awakens, he was, quite honestly, he was in it for the paycheck. So Let's be honest. But he has a great fondness for this role for Indiana Jones. So I don't think he would have took the role without having some kind of assurances on the script being decent. And a lot of people didn't like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and it surely had its flaws, but again, it treated Indiana Jones with respect, I believe, anyway. And again, there's still no word really on supporting cast members, such as, Karen Allen, apparently, who is Mrs. Indiana Jones now. They haven't mentioned if she's back, or obviously Shia LaBeouf probably not coming back, but they could have recast the role of Indy's son. There are other little things we'd like to see, like maybe Sala coming back, John Rhys Davies, maybe Short Round, Jonathan Quinn is his name. But no cameos being released as of yet. But there was another cast member announced, Toby Jones, best known probably in these circles from Captain America, the First Avenger. He's joined the cast in an undisclosed role, but the photos seem to indicate that he'll be playing an ally to Indy. And I can't believe out of all these photos I got, I didn't get one with Toby Jones, but okay. Let's see. The titular archaeologist looks like will be indeed de-aged for some key sequences. They have some images here of him with, I believe there's like some spots on his face, which suggests that they are going to digitally make him younger, which, again, I'm not sure exactly how young they're going to make him, because the villain in the story is supposedly going, you could see the spots on his face here, the villain is supposedly going to be a Nazi, so they're probably going to go back to the 30s or early 40s and then flash back. Let's see. The photos also teased an explosive scene at Bamba Castle. So I didn't get those photos either, but there are some photos going around of that in Scotland, where the film is shooting. In addition to Harrison Ford and Toby Jones, the all-star cast will feature Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Mads Mikkelsen, Thomas Kretzmann, Boyd Holbrook, and Shawnette Renee Wilson. Two-time Academy Award nominee James Mangold will be in the director's chair, taking the reins from Academy Award winner Steven Spielberg. And of course, James Mangold directed Logan, and that's giving a lot of people hope that they're not going to fool around with this one with James Mangold in the director's chair. Hopefully that'll be the case. Jonathan Kasdan, son of Lawrence Kasdan, who of course wrote Raiders of the Lost Ark, he has taken a pass at the script after screenwriter David Kopp exited the project. Now, Jonathan Kasdan also wrote with his father, Lawrence Kasdan, the Force Awakens. And to be honest with you, they kind of did have the flavor of Han Solo in that movie. They did kind of, I think they sort of portrayed him as the way, a younger Han Solo acted. I don't think they quite had him at the stage that he probably should have been in that movie. But again, is that something that can give you hope that maybe this will be written in the vein of the Indiana Jones we all know and love? Only time will tell. Steven Spielberg will executive produce along with Kathleen Kennedy, Frank Marshall, Simon Emanuel. Indy 5 is currently scheduled to hit theaters on July 29th, 2022, so we don't have too long to wait. We just got a year to go. And come on, tell me you're not going to get pumped when you see that trailer. You hear the Raiders march. You see Harrison Ford come out with that fedora and the leather jacket. Come on. You can't be that jaded. Well, let's just cross our fingers and hope that they get enough gas in the tank to pull this off, that they're not going to woke it up too much, and that the powers that be will keep the crazies in check. All right, so let me know what you think in the comments below. And we will move on to another Lucasfilm project that is now in the works that I am hopeful for, but exactly how hopeful should I be is anybody's guess. Let's see. Of course, I didn't get the image up. I didn't get the image up of the Obi-Wan Kenobi series. Let's see. We're going to have to do this the difficult way. So just talk amongst yourselves for a moment while I try to... Let's see. I'll just edit the stuff out later, so it's not a biggie. It's no big deal. All right. Man, oh man. All right. So, with that out of the way, all right. All that for this image. And this image says it all, doesn't it? Obi-Wan is filming the upcoming Disney Plus series in the UK. Just Jared. She went to Jared. Or was it he went to Jared? In this day and age, they both went to Jared. I don't know. Just Jared has the scoop here with a whopping 90 photos. So go to his website if you want to see them all. Right now, we're just getting this one. But this is the first image of Ewan McGregor as the legendary Jedi Master Obi-Wan Kenobi from the same series of the same name. Let's see. The actor is wearing a plastic covering which obscures the majority of his costume. Of course, Obi-Wan Kenobi has worn the same Jedi togs for his entire life, basically, right? Hasn't he worn the same costume for his entire existence? I think his entire 60 years he was wearing that same outfit. And so I doubt this one will be very different, this costume, but maybe they'll surprise us. I don't know why they would. I mean, it's going to stick out like a sore thumb if after all these years he's not wearing the same Jedi robes. Let's see. Also there's stormtroopers and Imperial officers in this photo blitz on Just Jared, so go check that out. The plot details are under wraps, but we do know that Obi-Wan will be set between the events of Revenge of the Sith and A New Hope, and that Hayden Christensen will return as Darth Vader for a confrontation with his old master. There are also rumors that younger versions of Luke Skywalker and Princess Leia will appear, but that has yet to be confirmed. Again, this is another show that I am cautiously optimistic. I don't even know if I can go that far, but I'm certainly hoping, because honestly, this is the only thing that I've got left. This is the only thing I've got left to be interested in Star Wars. They completely ruined the sequel trilogy. Going forward there really holds no enthusiasm for me. And then we have the post-Jedi, post-Return of the Jedi era with The Mandalorian, which I still haven't watched. There was also news that I think the Book of Boba Fett is finished filming, and that's going to be out at the end of this year. We'll see if they can build something from the ashes of that, but unfortunately, it's all going to lead back to the sequel trilogy. So no matter how well they put together some post-Return of the Jedi stuff, if it leads to the sequel trilogy, man, that leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Again, I don't really want to speculate too much, but of course, there's been some controversy with Doomcock, and the guy, to me, is basically, he's a kook, really. I know that he has a lot of fans, and part of the controversy is labeling his fans unflatteringly, and I'm not doing that, but quite honestly, I can't take any of his scoops with even a pound of salt anymore. He's had Kathleen Kennedy fired since the month after The Last Jedi was released. He's basically had George Lucas leaving retirement and taking the reins of Lucasfilm over again, which, quite honestly, is not going to happen. I don't care what universe you're in. I would like to think that George would still have the Godfather role that he envisioned for himself. He would still take that position if they allowed him. But I think there's too many bridges burned at this point. I don't think he's ever going to have a real leadership role in the company going forward. So it's sad that this is the hands that we're in now for Star Wars. And quite honestly, I hope that changes. But I wouldn't hold my breath. Let's just put it that way. All right, so let me think. Let me know what you think. It's late over here. Let me know what you think about the Obi-Wan series. Are you excited about it? Do you have any hopes for it? Do you have high hopes? Do you have low hopes? Do you have no hope whatsoever? I want to hear about it. Let me know. All right, let's see. Next up, we have some information on Aquaman 2. Aquaman 2 also in the works. It's been quite a while as well for that film. We haven't really heard any news. Director James Wan has revealed that Aquaman 2 will be titled Aquaman and the Lost Kingdom. That sounds pretty exciting. Jason Momoa returns as the titular deep-sea superhero. While The Lost Kingdom is plenty cryptic, the Illuminati recently learned the film's working title is Necrus, a reference to the mysterious black city that is found in the deepest part of an underwater canyon and made its one and only appearance in Aquaman number 30. Its inhabitants are a militaristic society led by King Mongo. Is that Ming the Merciless? Mongo believes that any and all invasions from the surface dwellers should be met with an aggressive and fatal response, which could very well set the stage for the upcoming Aquaman follow-up. That sounds pretty good. That sounds exciting. In addition to Jason Momoa as Aquaman, Amber Heard returns as Mira, Patrick Wilson as Orm, Yaha Abdul Mateen II as Black Manta, and Dolph Lundgren as Nereus. Let's see. Pilo Asbeck joined the ensemble cast in an undisclosed role as a villain. No word yet on whether Nicole Kidman, Tamara Morrison, or Willem Dafoe will return, but it seems probable that they'll be back in some capacity. Whoever wrote this copy has the skill of a chipmunk. All right. In addition to the Aquaman sequel, Warner Brothers and DC have the following titles lined up for 2022/23. The Batman will be released March 4th, 2022. The Flash, November 4th, 2022. So that's all this year. I mean, this coming year. Black Adam, July 29th, 2022. And Shazam, Fury of the Gods, June 2nd, 2023. So they got a pretty full slate for this upcoming year, for 2022. The only one we really know about for 2023 so far is Fury of the Gods, but also in various stages of development are Blue Beetle, Batgirl, Supergirl, Green Lantern Corps, Static Shock, Wonder Woman 3, and the untitled Superman film with the black lead as Superman. Now, a lot of these that are in various stages of development, quote unquote, will probably never see the light of day. As it is, I think they're already saying the Blue Beetle and I think Static Shock, they're already saying they're going to go to HBO Max. I think Green Lantern Corps was already slated for just an HBO Max release. And I think they're not mentioning it here yet, but there was also talk of a Nightwing and Zatanna film, which we haven't seen really any talk about that yet. So hopefully we'll hear some more about that. And that stuff gets pushed into production. So let me know what you think about Aquaman 2, Aquaman and The Lost Kingdom. That sounds almost Indiana Jones-ish. All right, next up, let's see. Some more Lucasfilm news. I should have put this in in with the Lucasfilm stuff. But the Andor series, the Disney Plus Andor streaming series, has gotten some cast additions. As I take a sip of H2O here. Casting news has been released on the Andor series. Andor has been shooting for a while, and according to rumors shared by The Direct, Ben Mendelsohn is set to reprise his role as Orson Krennic. Now, that was one of the best parts of that film. I actually just watched Rogue One. If you've seen on Twitter, I was basically doing a breakdown of some of the thoughts I had during the movie. But he was really the highlight of that film, I think. I mean, that role was tailor-made for him. That was made to order for him, and that was a lot of fun that he brought to that film. And I think he did probably more for that film than he's done for pretty much any other film he's been in. Also, let's see. There's another solid rumor. Let's see. Swedish radio station Severge Radio, let's see, says that Stellan Skarsgård has some juicy scenes with Forrest Whitaker in Andor, meaning Forrest Whitaker's Saw Gerrera, which was also another tour de force performance in that film, in a film with plenty of them, will return. So this is interesting. Now, they're kind of hemmed in here because there's only so much they can do. I think we already heard that K2SO and probably Alan Tudyk will be involved as well. But they can't use the entire cast because they all met in that film. I would like to see more with Jyn Erso. I don't know if they could possibly swing that. Probably not, but if you're going to bring Ben Mendelsohn back and you're going to bring Forrest Whitaker back, what are they waiting for just to do something? Just do something with Jyn Erso and bring back Felicity Jones. That would be what I'd like to see. Again, like I said, I watched the film, and I think most people, I watched the film again recently, I think most people would say it's the best Star Wars film that came out of Lucasfilm. It's the most quality film, let me put it that way. And honestly, if they could do something in that vein, that would probably be very, I would say, successful. You know, that would be something to maybe get the fans back to rallying around the spin-off movies, because originally there were going to be a ton of spin-off movies after Solo failed, which was more the fault of The Last Jedi, let's be honest. After Solo failed, they kind of they nixed the Solo films or the spin-off films, if you want to, and they put all that effort into streaming series, miniseries. But if this is going to be sort of the prequel for Rogue One, it would be interesting to see. Maybe, you know, involve Jyn Erso and maybe see some of the backstory of some of these things, like, you know, Bodhi the pilot and stuff. I don't know. It's just, it's sort of a niche thing because it's really a one-off film. There's not much more you can do with it. But again, as I said, it was enjoyable. It had a great space battle. It had that sort of Force 10 from Navarone feel. Not everybody was going to make it back alive. You know, nobody did. Spoiler warning. But it could have been interesting if they would have at least let the stars survive. Maybe that would have been the right call, because then they wouldn't have to be so hemmed in here. Let's see. That's about it for the copy. Andor is expected to premiere on Disney Plus sometime in 2022. So we're going to get that probably next year. All right, so let's see. Now this next one is a big, big honking rumor. So we got to take this one with a grain of salt. I'm not sure how true this is, but all the media outlets were running with it. all last week. So we're going to talk about it because if all the outlets are talking about it, then there must be some truth to it. Apparently, the Submariner, Prince Namor, will make his appearance in Ryan Coogler's sequel to the Black Panther, Wakanda Forever. If the rumor is to be believed, Mexican actor Tenoch Herrera, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, will be playing Namor, the Submariner. The Illuminati reports that Black Panther 2 will indeed revolve around the conflict between Wakanda and Atlantis, as previously speculated, with Huerta leading the Atlantean forces as the Savage Submariner. We found out late last year that the actor had been cast as the main villain, but no further details on his role were provided. So he's already been cast, we know that. But the speculation is to whether he's actually playing Namor now that the rumor is pretty much out that they are introducing Namor. Apparently, actors are currently being sought to play Namor's fellow deep-sea warriors, Namora and Cadmiel. Rumors relating to Namor's MCU introduction have been doing the rounds for years, and this isn't even the first time we've heard that the character was set to debut in the Black Panther sequel. Still, the source does have a pretty good track record, so we're going to give them the benefit of the doubt. It's worth noting the Avengers Endgame writers Marcus and McFeely were asked about the much-discussed exchange between Black Widow and Okoye about oceanic earthquakes last year, and appeared to confirm that it was indeed a vague reference to Marvel's Atlantean anti-hero. Now again, this set off the spark of comments from the usual suspects, the 12 internet weirdos who champion diversity more than fidelity to the source material. Now, obviously, Namor is actually a half-breed. He's very much like Aquaman, except Aquaman got the blonde hair, blue-eyed characteristics, while Namor got the pointy ears and the Vulcan eyebrows and that kind of angular haircut to make him look more outworldly. He's not going to blend in as well. And the wings on his ankles, let's not forget that. But this is where it really is a head-scratcher, to me at least, because out of all the ways that you could add diversity, most fans would have probably embraced an Asian actor playing Namor. Now, Namor is supposed to be blue-eyed. I would probably insist on blue contacts. But if you want to put an Asian actor in this role, he is going to pretty much resemble. I've seen some Asian actors that they have suggested for the role in various, fan casts. And I can see it. I can honestly see it. But choosing a Mexican actor, I don't quite understand it. And of course, they could quite honestly just choose a white actor, because even though the SJWs and the race-bending elite want to get on the high horse and say, well, Submariner hates the white man, and Submariner is not white. The truth of the matter is, if you look at the character, there really isn't any doubt that his ethnicity is Caucasian, the way that he's been drawn and colored and so forth over the years. The thing is that his people, the Atlanteans, are all blue-skinned. He's the only white-skinned Atlantean. So he's basically an outcast among his own people for being a half-breed. And that's kind of where we find him. And that's why he is sort of prejudiced against the white man being one of them. It's a pretty complex story, one that I have to admit, I've never fully gotten into the lore of Namor. I've always seen him as sort of a more ticked-off Aquaman for the MCU, for Marvel. But see, the thing is Aquaman went through that as well during, I think, the Peter David era. I know during the Superman animated series and Justice League animated series, they started showing this more gruff and uncompassionate Aquaman that they, promoted as sort of their default Aquaman. I've always liked the more level-headed superhero Aquaman, which more or less Jason Momoa has played. I mean, he's playing him more as sort of, a tough guy. But all right, so let me know what you think about this. Is this another case of the old race changers are at it again, or is this honestly just a rumor, and maybe we should maybe this fellow is going to play one of the blue-skinned Atlanteans? I don't know. Chances are the MCU, I wouldn't put it past them to just completely disregard fidelity to the source material. All right, here's another story that was making the rounds that has to do with race changing. A beloved character. I don't know, is she really a beloved character? Velma Dinkley. Velma Dinkley is going to get her own television show, apparently. And my first question is why? I never really understood the fascination with Velma. I think it's probably because SJWs gravitate toward her because she's vaguely, she's fairly unattractive, vaguely butchish. I don't know. And for some reason, that's why they've kind of tried to make her this status symbol for their machinations. I'm not sure, but that's just my speculation. I mean, it's always been Shaggy and Scooby being the team, and then usually they would try to fit in Daphne because Daphne's kind of a favorite. All of us had a crush on Daphne. I'm not going to tell that story right now, but there's a story to be told there. And Fred, Fred probably is even behind Velma. They've kind of made Fred a joke more recently in recent years that he's dumb or something. I never really seen that in the original show or for the first 10 years after the show, and the 70s and 80s cartoons. I don't know. After that, though, they've kind of tried to make him sort of comedic, which I don't really understand. But anyway, my first reaction was why? Why do you need a Velma series? This is apparently without Scooby-Doo. This is not going to have anything to do with the Mystery Inc. team. And like I said, this is like saying we're going to do a Judy Jetson series. I mean, yeah, you could do it, but why? Does anybody really like that character enough to really just want to see that character through a starring vehicle? I don't know why, but let's see what the copy has to say. A recent revelation that the Scooby-Doo spinoff Velma will feature her as an East Asian lead is not sitting well with some people. Now, that's another thing that has made the headlines, is that they're going to race change Velma, that she's going to be East Asian, which a lot of people are saying that Velma has been played by an Asian actress before, so this is not really anything new. Let me see. Haley Kayoko played her in the 2009 live-action adaptation Scooby-Doo The Mystery Begins and the 2010 sequel Scooby-Doo Curse of the Lake Monster. The fact that I've never heard of those movies probably goes to show how successful they were. Let's see. HBO Max announced the brand new adult animated comedy in February, revealing that the titular character of Velma Dinkley will be voiced by Indian-American actress Mindy Kaling. Which, this is strange. She's going to be Asian, but the actress is Indian. So isn't that a no-no? You can't have, the different actress race be different than the character's race. I thought that was a no-no. I don't know. They're changing the rules all the time. While the initial announcement got fans excited, say what? Social media backlash ensued after Tom Ascham, president of Warner Brothers Global Kids, Young Adults, and Classics, revealed new details about the totally reimagined Scooby Gang on Thursday, according to the Mary Sue. And we know how reliable they are. Mindy was excited to reimagine what Scooby-Doo would be like if Velma were of East Asian descent and lived in a different world. different world. What does this mean? What is this, like, she's going to be living in China or something? I don't know. What does this mean? I don't get it. In that version, which is going on HBO Max first, there's no dog and no van, but we have our 4 key characters through a different lens. So I guess apparently no Scooby and no van, but they're going to have Shaggy and Daphne and Fred. I don't know. I don't understand this. Announced as a Scooby-Doo prequel, Warner Brothers Animation's Velma will focus on the origin story of Velma as the unsung and underappreciated brains of the Scooby-Doo Mystery Inc. gang. Aside from voicing the character, Kaling will also executive produce the upcoming show, according to Entertainment Weekly. Again, who asked for this? This is probably going to disappear as fast as it came. Good luck to them, but I don't see a purpose for this whatsoever. Let me know what you think in the comments below. As big a Scooby-Doo fan as I am, I hold out no interest in this whatsoever. So we'll just leave it at that. All right. And our final bit of business, we've got 3 race changes in one day. Why not? Let's see. See? You can tell it's late. I got the picture of the wrong actress. This is the actress that's going to play the She-Hulk. It's too late for me to fool around with this, but we will talk about the She-Hulk series anyway. The She-Hulk will be facing off against one of her most infamous adversaries in the upcoming Disney Plus series. Jamila Jamil has reportedly signed on to play her. According to the Illuminati, the star has joined the Marvel Studios show as Titania, one of Jennifer Walters' most formidable opponents in the comics. Apparently, this is the Lucy character we heard about before the series entered production. And if the accompanying description proves to be accurate, Disney Plus will be taking the villain in an intriguing new direction. Now, of course, Titania is a redhead. And of course, this actress is decidedly not. So this is yet another race change. Ginger. They can't leave them gingers alone. I don't understand it, but they've got something against them gingers. This take on Titania is said to be a Kardashian-esque social media influencer in her 30s with a dark side, which would obviously be a very different origin for Mary McFerrin, who was given superhuman strength, stamina, and durability, the powers of a Titan by Dr. Doom during the Secret Wars in the comics. As reliable as the source usually is, treat this rumor with the proverbial grain of salt. Let's see. There will probably be a while before we get a look at Titania Maslany as She-Hulk. She's got the same name pretty much as the villain. I have to read that twice. Let's see. If cast. Jamil will join Maslany as Jennifer Walters, Hamilton star Renee Elsa Goldsberry as a character named Amelia, Mark Ruffalo as Bruce Banner, the Hulk, Tim Roth as the Abomination, and Ginger Gonzaga as Walter's best friend, and most likely Jill Stevens. So, again, I really don't know what to think about the She-Hulk show. It feels like they're trying to make it a sequel for the Hulk that they can't do for the Hulk. They're going to have the Abomination finally brought back, and there's been rumors that they're going to have Betty Ross, they're going to have Thunderbolt Ross. They can't do any of this stuff in a Hulk show because Universal still holds the rights. And, of course, they can have Bruce Banner guest star, and he can have some part to play in it, but it can't be his show. So basically, he's going to take second fiddle to the She-Hulk, which is basically what Superman did to Supergirl in the Supergirl series. She's constantly going to be in the lead. She's constantly going to be the focus, and it's her show. It's understandable. But they're going to seriously nerf the powers of the Hulk. And quite honestly, they have done such a poor job with the Hulk in the past the MCU has. I can't. I mean, obviously, the first Hulk movie with Norton and the first Avengers, they were pretty good. But they really haven't done right by the Hulk since. And so I don't imagine that they're going to. There's been rumors. I didn't have this copy written down here in front of me, but there's also rumors that apparently they're going to have some kind of future role for the Hulk going forward in the MCU with a different style Hulk. Now, it's not going to be Professor Hulk. It's not going to be Smart Hulk or whatever they call it. And it's probably not going to be Gray Hulk, Joe Fix-It Hulk. But they said there's going to be another savage incarnation of the Hulk, which to me is, they're taking the character backwards. I never liked the Gray Hulk. I never liked Joe Fix-It Hulk. And I never liked Smart Hulk. But they were starting to bring the Hulk along in Ragnarok, which I thought was a good move, where he was starting to find that intelligence level of the comic book Hulk, where he wasn't completely mute and he wasn't completely rage driven. There was, moments of lucidity where he kind of just could get along in life without smashing. So we kind of are getting rid of all that now and going back to the Savage. I don't know. No matter which way you look at it, they've really screwed the Hulk. You know what I mean? They haven't made him smart. I don't like it when they make him smart, and I don't like it when they make him completely brainless, and I don't like when they make him Joe Fix-It. So we only got 2 films in that vein where he was the comic book Hulk, and then as they started to make that move in Ragnarok, then they just completely pulled the rug out from underneath him in Infinity War. And I don't dislike Infinity War. I think that was a pretty good movie. I think they botched what they could have done with the Hulk in Endgame. But then again, they botched everybody in Endgame, so there you have it. Let me know what you think in the comments below about the future of She-Hulk. Is this another one to watch or another one to miss? I think I'm leaning toward the latter right now, but we'll see. All right, so that about wraps it up for a Saturday evening, now Sunday morning. Thank you for joining us here on the only way to spend your Saturday night and Sunday morning here with us on the Johnnie Torch Live program. Make sure you check the link in the description below for The Adventures of Bullets Bourbon Private Eye, our all-ages action-adventure extravaganza, where a down-on-his-luck private eye takes on the most colorful collection of villains imaginable in each and every action-packed issue. Coming soon, Temptation Eyes, issue number 8. Drama, humor. This one's got everything. Temptation, obsession, and betrayal. All in Bullets Bourbon number 8. Temptation Eyes. Coming soon, and I've got to get back to work on that. We're almost done coloring it. And check out the episode last week to see some of that in action. And, of course, we've got Family Jewels still available, the first part in this 3-part story arc, so make sure you check that out. Again, link in the description below. So, until next we meet, this is Johnnie Torch reminding you once again, keep the flame burning brightly, and I'll be with you again real soon.